Let me talk to the builders for a minute. Not the clock watchers, not the contract hours only crew. I'm talking about the educators who walk into their classroom like it's a startup, like it's a vision, like it's something they're building brick by brick, system by system, culture by culture. I'm a 7th grade black male social studies teacher. Every single day, I walk into a room full of energy, chaos, brilliance, potential. And I know one thing, if I treat this like a 9 to 5, it will eat me alive. But if I treat this like I'm building something that can run even when I'm tired, something that serves me as much as I serve it, that changes everything. See, some teachers survive the year. Entrepreneurial teachers design the year. There's a difference. When you approach teaching like a business owner, you stop asking, how can I get through today? And you start asking, what can I build today that will make tomorrow easier? That's systems thinking. It's the difference between writing the same behavioral referrals day after day and building a classroom culture so strong that students correct each other before you even open your mouth. It's the difference between grading until midnight and designing rubrics, peer feedback protocols, and self-assessment structures that do half the lifting for you. It's the difference between constantly putting out fires and fireproofing the building. Let me give you a metaphor. On one hand, teaching like a 9 to 5 is like carrying buckets of water every single day from the river to your house. You're exhausted, you're sweating, and tomorrow you've got to do the same trip again, day after day. On the other hand, teaching like an entrepreneur is building a well. The first quarter, hard work, digging, planning, building systems. But once that well is built, you draw water when you need it for the rest of the school year. And here's the insight nobody tells new teachers. The digging phase is what protects you from burnout. Burnout doesn't just come from working hard. Burnout comes from working hard with no leverage. Entrepreneur teachers create leverage. They build routines so tight that transitions happen in 30 seconds. They teach protocol like they're teaching content. They automate what can be automated. They template what can be templated. They reuse what works instead of starting from ground zero every single week. They understand that structure equals freedom. And here's the part that people misunderstand. This approach isn't about grinding yourself into the ground. It's about front-loading intentional effort so your future self can breathe. You earn your leisure, not by slacking, not by cutting corners, but by building something that sustains you. When your system runs smoothly, you get your evenings back, you get your weekends back, you get mental clarity back. And that leisure time, that's not laziness, that's legacy time. You can use that time to build side passions. You can write, you can coach, you can start your business, you can innovate your lessons and come back sharper. Or you can simply sit on the couch in peace and laugh with your family. And that is sacred. We deserve lives outside the classroom. Let me say that again for the teachers in the back who feels guilty for resting. We deserve lives outside the classroom. The entrepreneur teacher understands this. Sustainability is success. I've seen too many brilliant educators flame out in 5 years because they gave everything and built nothing that gave them back. But when you design your classroom like a CEO designs an organization, you start thinking long term. You ask yourself, what routines will reduce decision fatigue? What student leadership roles can I create? How can I scaffold independence instead of micromanaging dependency forever? What digital tools actually save me time instead of just looking cool? You start thinking in terms of assets. Your anchor charts become assets. Your slide decks become assets. Your project templates become assets. Your classroom norms become assets. Your student leaders become, you guessed it, assets. And assets compound. Quarter 1, you build. Quarter 2, you refine. Quarter 3, you optimize. Quarter 4, you're operating with wisdom instead of survival instincts. And guess what happens when you reduce chaos and increase clarity? You get better relationships because now you're not constantly stressed. You're not reacting to power struggles all day. You have space to actually see your students. Entrepreneur teachers don't distance themselves from kids like an elitist. They design environments that allow authentic connection without sacrificing boundaries. You can be warm and structured. You can be firm and joyful. You can be disciplined and creative. Let the system hold the structure so you can hold the humanity. That's longevity, and longevity matters, especially for those of us who represent something bigger when we stand in front of our classrooms. As an immigrant Black male educator, I know my presence matters, my consistent matters, my staying power matters. And if I want to stay in this profession long enough to make generational impact, I cannot operate on hustle alone. Hustle burns out. Systems build empires. In your classroom, that's an important piece of the unstoppable education empire. Let's talk about leisure again. Leisure for the entrepreneur teacher isn't just rest, it's incubation. When you step away, your brain solves problems in the background. You re-enter with sharper lessons, stronger ideas, better energy. Some of my best innovations came when I wasn't working. I was walking, I was cooking, I was laughing with my wife, I was being a father, I was living. That life fuels the classroom. Entrepreneur teachers understand that they are the primary asset, so they protect their energy. They don't say yes to everything. They don't chase every new initiative. They evaluate opportunities like investors. Does this align with my mission? Does this move the needle? Does this serve my students and sustain me? If no, it's a no. And the clarity creates peace. Peace creates longevity. Longevity creates mastery. Mastery creates impact. And here's the real reward. When your classroom runs smoothly because of systems you built, when students internalize procedures, when your projects hum with independence, when admin walks in and sees calm, engaged learning, you feel ownership, not exhaustion. Ownership. That's powerful. You're not just teaching, you're constructing infrastructure, and infrastructure is what lasts. So dig the well, build the system, create leverage, protect your energy, earn your leisure, invest in your growth, and watch how burnout shrinks when clarity grows. Because we don't just work jobs, we build ecosystems.